Hey guys, Bart from TST Industries here, bringing you another great install video. In this episode, we will be installing these TST Industries flush mount signals on a 2009 to 2014 Yamaha YZF-R1. We will be replacing these bulky OEM signals with these nice flush fitting units. These are available in our store in either a clear or a smoked lens. We also provide optional harness converters. Take the bullet connectors that these signals terminate in and convert them to an OEM plug. Our system is unique in that it comes with spacers that fit over this boss here and make sure that these are truly flush and not within the panel. So this is a fairly straightforward install, and we will begin by removing this body panel off the bike. So in the first step, we will be removing these three body fasteners from the inside panel here. There are three of them. They're on the opposite side of here, here, and here. They are removed by pressing in the center and pulling them out. So you press in the center. That allows this to come out. Do all three of them. Now, I will continue on the outside here. We'll need to remove these 5 fasteners. These are quarter turn fasteners. Some of them are captive up top here, and the bottom ones are not. All right, so now this is loose. I just need to get it out of its clips. Now I'll need to unplug this plug here. This is done by lifting up on this tab and withdrawing that plug. Now we can remove this locking piece from the back side of the signal. It's the only thing that keeps it in place. You can pry away on the outer rubber portion and get this guy out of there. And that comes off, and at this point just twist and pull. Put that to the side and demonstrate how this locking works. This sits in the panel opening, and this protrudes through the inside. When this locking piece fits into these slots here, it keeps it from being able to come out. So this comes out and is just twist and pull. So now we'll be installing the actual electrical components. For this video, we chose to use our harness converters that are optional, but we highly recommend using them because they take the pain away from wiring this. Otherwise, you would have to wire this type of connector into here. You'd have to cut and splice. But if you use our harness converter, it's just plug and play. And on this particular bike, we have 3 wires because you have your ground and you have your running light and your signal light. These are arbitrary colors. They do not correspond to the signal color code or any color code on the harness of this bike. So now we will need to figure out which set of 2 make the signal work. So I'm going to power up the bike. I'm going to turn on the left side signal here, and I will just try random combinations. Need to make sure that these little shields don't slip up, and then you allow these, any 2 of these to touch, you might cause a short and blow a fuse. So let's go with black into brown and test the other 2. All right, that didn't work. Black into blue. Test the other 2. That does not work. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I cheated and I went ahead and I actually figured this out ahead of time. So here we go. This is really the combination. I just wanted to illustrate the method of finding the right connector. So now that we know this connection scheme, we will remove these connectors, also disconnect the harness converter, and move on to installing the signal inside the well of the fairing. So we will use the open end towards the outside of the signal inside of the well. So the smooth part goes towards the signal back. Feed it through like that. Align it with the signal. Now we can put it in the fairing well here. Just have to make sure that it sits flush on the inside. It's pretty easy to make it come off the little step here, just like that. So you need to make sure that it's nice and flush. And now we will use the nut. Make sure the flange goes on first and get it over the connectors and onto the stud on the back of your new signals. Now we can just tighten that down. I recommend doing this by hand and not to any extensive amount of force. All right, it looks like I actually did get my signal to come off that little shoulder step on the inside. So I'm going to undo it here just a little bit and make sure that I have proper engagement of that spacer against the step, and tighten it back down. All right, and that looks pretty good to me. Now I will connect these bullet connectors into the harness converter in the scheme that I previously found. And this last wire, which is the running light wire, will remain unused. And at this point, what I like to do is lock these things in place, because if they do come off at some point during the service life of this part and are allowed to touch together, they will cause a short. You will have to remove all these components again. So to lock them in place, I'm going to use some nice electrical tape here. We've had comments on our videos and guys reporting that harness tape would be better for this particular application. If you have harness tape available to you, by all means, go ahead. We've been using the higher quality electrical tape available from the automotive store locally. We've been using that for years, and that's yielded good results. But if you want to step up to harness tape, it's completely okay. All right. Once I get a nice tight wrap over all these connectors, this is pretty much ready to go. What I like to do before I install the panel on is plug this in and test it one more time just to make sure I didn't make any error in connectors. Looks like we're good to go. As you can see, this wire loom is a little bit longer than what we had here in its stock form, so I'm gonna have to route this somehow so that it doesn't impede my ability to put in screws and get the snaps in and stuff. All right, so that looks pretty good here. Now on the inside of this fairing, there's one peg here that fits in here, and a couple other aligning features that you have to consider while putting this back on. So those need to align first, and then your screws go into their quarter turn fastener mates. And now we can get the top three fasteners turned in. And that looks good. So now on the bottom here, we have two tabs on this piece located here and here that fit into mating geometry in the bottom belly piece here. So they will need to be inserted first. And then we could get these screws, quarter turn fasteners, in and fastened. All right, now we are ready to get this inner panel mated up again. Now mine did not come out of its tabs here, but this is very typical that it pops out and these tabs come out. So if that happens on your install, you have to get those in first and then get the inside aligned. Now you will reset these fasteners just like this and use them to fasten this piece in place. All right, so it looks like we are halfway done. We'll just repeat this procedure on the other side of the bike. All right guys, so now this installation is complete. We can give the system a last test. It's looking like both sides are flashing properly. One thing I wanted to note here is that you have a hyper flash situation on this bike where the signal is flashing a lot faster than it was meant to. From the factory. The factory usually sets the blink rate at 85 cycles per minute. Here we have a much faster rate. This is very typical to any LED signals that are changed on the bike, where you have an incandescent light doing the signaling in the OEM setup. Now you've changed it to an LED lamp that draws much less current. This will happen on almost every bike. To fix this, we recommend using our LED flasher relay that mounts just under this assembly here in between the headlights. We do have a video for the installation of this relay, so you can find the link to that video at the end of this video. As far as this installation is concerned, we are done. This bike is ready to go.